Hello everybody, hello Keri.
Hi.
We have such a treat. I have next to me someone who I really define as a mover and shaker. Someone who, I care about my associations, so I want to be associated to this wonderful lady. If any of you watch us, see what Keri is doing. She is moving things and she's doing things that a lot of us want to do. So Keri, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, I'm honored to be here.
It's fun and I've looked forward to doing this for a while. A big thing is coming up and you actually have a special connection to it. So guys, if you didn't know, Amazon is coming, right?
They are coming to town. I'm thrilled.
So I would love for you to share some of the really smart things you and I have been talking about for a few weeks now, about what's going on, what to prepare, what people need to know about this huge shift that's going to happen in our area. So first, do you want to share a little bit of your personal story about Amazon?
Absolutely. So what a lot of people don't know about me is that I actually relocated for Amazon as a high schooler. Wow. So my senior year of high school, 3 days before school started, I worked at an ice cream shop. I came home, I ran in the door and I was going to a party. And my dad was drinking a gin and tonic at the kitchen counter and he said, "Care Bear, we need to talk." I thought, not now, Dad. This is a great party that I'm going to, and we can't talk about it. And he said, "I think you might want to hear about this tonight." I thought,
What is that?
Okay, what does this mean? So he had met Jeff Bezos at an event, and they recruited my family to move to Seattle. And I was leaving on a plane. I had no idea. I was leaving on a plane the next morning to go look at houses.
Wow.
So it was very fast, but I can associate to what Amazon families are going through. For me personally, I went from a high school in Portland, Maine, where there were 99 kids in my class, to essentially a crazy college campus in Seattle that I think there were over 1,000 people in my class. It was so much fun.
That's 1,000% increase. Right?
Yeah, so it ended up being fantastic for me personally, but there were some bumps along the way. I didn't know the Seattle area at all, and so I think of the Amazon families that are currently living in Seattle, and some that are living all over the country that may be relocated because of this change, and I'm passionate about helping them. I've been there before, so that's exciting to me. And then when I think about the impact to the area, it impacts all of us.
Everyone.
Yeah, so that is, when you think about the impact, I guess the first segment of the population I would talk about are people who live here now, and they're thinking, what does this mean? How can I take advantage of this opportunity? Or some people are scared, what does this mean if I'm renting for housing prices, right? And so I do believe for people who are renting out there, you need to be aware of what happened in Seattle. There are reports that suggest rental rates went up as much as 80%.
80%.
80%. And some people are thinking, will it go up $100? Will it go up $200? Like it could almost double.
What time span are we talking about?
A 7-year time span.
7-year time span of an 80% increase in the rent market in Seattle.
Yes.
Wow.
So when you think about that, you have a couple options, right? You can either secure, some people are really opposed to buying. I understand, everyone has a personal opinion. But you want to lock in a long-term housing solution where you're going to be assured that you have a fixed rate on where you're living. In my opinion, there's a lot of advantages to locking that in through purchasing a home. It seems like a no-brainer to me, especially right now, because in addition to that increase of rental rate, property values went way up. Way up, as much as 40% in the same period of time. So when you're thinking about it right now, some of you are out there, you're renting, you like the idea that you have the flexibility, it may be time to consider the financial consequences of not making a commitment. And I'm a commitment phobe too, I get it. But it's time to look seriously about what's your path, what's your future? Are you gonna be in the area for the next few years? And if you are, time to start talking about it and educating yourself.
Is now. Yeah. So I'll take it even a step further. The time to buy is really now. If you are thinking about buying in this area, it's not going to get any better. So if you want to buy for an investment, and you know, Keri, I love your advice and you were very gentle with it, but when you and I spoke and I told you about what I'm considering, you told me, Zev, buy.
Yeah.
So You know, this is
I'm
the
being
time.
gentle with the commitment, folks. The people who are looking at investing, they started calling the second the news was announced, right? They started saying, well, I want to get in now because I have this extra, I have this extra money that I've put away, or I have money that's in stock and I feel better about my odds with Amazon coming to town in the real estate market. So there's two segments of the population that it makes a big difference for. Those that are looking to invest and those that are looking to invest in their future because they know they need to buy their first home. Then the third segment of the population is those that want to move up.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're going to move up, don't wait and compete with all the Amazon families. Do it now. Make sure that you've secured your position in your larger asset. So sometimes people live in fear. Well, what if I sell this asset that I have now too soon? And I get that. But if you can't qualify to own both, would you rather save the money on the investment that you have now, or would you rather secure your position in the more expensive asset and then make the money from there? So I would say for everyone out there, if you're looking at making a real estate decision, decide quickly. Don't wait and then have Amazon families already starting to relocate in the area impacted.
Love that. So Keri just gave you two incredible tips. One, if you're renting, start thinking about a long-term solution. Start thinking about closing in because prices are going to go up. The Seattle example, 7 years, 80%. That's big. Now, the other thing is if you have or you're considering to invest, this is the time. It will not get any better. But I want to talk about one more thing as I have you here. This is going to be a longer than usual video.
Sure.
You gave some great advice to me and to some other people. What as business owners, as company owners, what do we need to expect now? Things are going to change, and I really enjoy the conversation we have. So what is your one tip for company owners now that Amazon is coming to town?
Absolutely. So for people who are running businesses out there, the talent pool is already tight, right? And we know that as business owners.
Yes, we do.
It's about to get a lot tighter. So you have to consider how can you provide additional value for your employees? How can you make them feel more cared about, more taken care of, more like they want to stay and they're invested in your vision. So we could have an entire conversation on vision, and I think that's important to get them really aligned. But then also, how do you provide benefits to them that they're not getting anywhere else, right? That they haven't seen. Up your game. How do you have a better culture? So for part of that we're trying to help business owners, we're bringing in education. So one of the people on our team is actually doing improv training. Right? And companies love it and they get a lot of satisfaction out of it. And it's all about how do you take it to the next level with their happiness. The other piece is you have to shore up for your employees their sense of security and their finances, which sounds like a weird thing to talk about, but it's true. So for us, we're going in, we're partnering with some huge organizations, and we're creating an educational platform for a path to their employees to buy. Right? And for companies, having them buy and secure their position in the area is gonna be important, because if your employees are looking at other opportunities and they live close to where your office is, they've positioned their lifestyle with your company in mind, that's a win. And if you're helping educate them, that's a win because they feel indebted to the company because you're taking care of them.
And you're giving them more than what they expected to get. So build more value.
Exactly.
Create almost a tribe or a family. Create loyalty, because if not, they're going to go to Amazon. They can afford to pay more than you usually.
Yes. And reports are saying average Amazon employee is around 100,000. But what's interesting is there's other reports coming out that are saying, but wait, it's actually closer to 170,000. 170,000 on average. So think about if you're a CEO out there, or you're in charge of HR, you're in charge of a company, what is the average that you're paying employees? And if you can't afford to pay an average of 170,000 or over 100, well, what other benefits can you provide to increase the happiness factor so that they're not looking?
And there is something, to do with the great generation of millennials. Everybody talks a lot of things badly about millennials, but I know I hire a lot. I know you do too.
Oh, absolutely.
They're amazing.
We love our millennials.
Yes, we do too. So they really like cause. If you do good, if you really have built-in good things, they will buy in. So that's a little bit of an advantage. Keri, this was a pleasure. I would love to invite you again. You have so much to share, and I know everybody will enjoy it very much.
Thank you. Thank
But
you
this
for
was
having me.
great. Check Keri out. You have this new coaching program. You're doing so many things. You just did a program with Grant Cardone.
We did.
I've seen you with Gary Vee. I'm just honored to be in the same frame. So this is
you.
great, and I'll invite you again. Guys, listen and follow Keri. She knows what she's talking about. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.